Hello, Edward Earl, CEO Growth Team here with Rasmussen Ironworks and Solaire Grills at the HPBA, and I've got Pete Dines with me.
How you doing?
Great, fantastic. Thanks for coming out at the show. And Pete, give us an idea, the name of the company, what you guys do, and how it all got started.
Home and Hearth Outfitters in Denver, Colorado, and Vail, Colorado, and I've been in this business for 20 years. My wife and I started it, and you know, it was a different concept back then, and you evolved, and now we're indoor fireplaces, outdoor fireplaces, indoor and outdoor kitchen stuff. So it's kind of started with some furniture in the beginning, and then it grew into fireplaces and all kinds of stuff. So.
And you guys are a retail shop, but you also sell to.
We do it front to back. So we'll do builders, new construction, remodel, and retail. So just dealing one-on-one with the homeowner that just wants to convert or update or replace something. And we also deal with big builders and do even commercial. A couple hundred fireplaces in a hotel with,
So sales, service, installation, the whole thing?
Yes, comprehensive.
Interesting. So, I mean, is that what you started out looking to do professionally, or did you?
No,
fall into it?
I started out, on the sales side, and you grow that service side and take care of that side of the business, and then it makes the sales side smooth.
So much easier.
Yeah, and it's an intricate part of the business. If you got the service side to support it, it makes the sales side smoother, easier, and then the customers can see that and they respond. So.
Denver market, Denver and Vail area, just basically Colorado. You look at that compared to, say, back east or even further out west. Do you think there's a dynamic in your particular geographic area for fireplaces that may not be the same in other areas of the country, just because of the nature of the atmosphere?
I think so. I mean, it seems we've gone through that phase of bigger is better, and so we have done a lot of absolutely amazing projects. When you think about the Vail Valley and some of the beautiful architecture and homes that are there, and it's trained us on that high end how to do things at the top level, best in class, that we can bring to any homeowner at any level, all through the Denver market and anywhere up to Vail. So it actually, I do think that it's made us very sharp, because we have to operate in some very high-end spaces, which makes us good everywhere.
It really does make a difference. I've got a couple of CEO friends that are part of my collaborative group, and these guys have done some of the biggest homes in Northern California for some of the biggest executives in the world, and they said some of these residential homes are trickier than the majority of these big commercial buildings that we do, and you get to sharpen your skills, and all that skill and experience just translates down onto every project.
Absolutely. We look at a lot of the projects that we take part in, and a lot of them are up in the mountains, and there's some in Denver too, but we really look at them as commercial projects. They are residential, but it's on a scale that's so amazing that you really do. You look at it like commercial. Yeah,
and just the concepts of how you look at projects like that are different than maybe just smaller, basic retails, installations.
You do, but that's what makes us good at those.
Right.
Yeah.
So give me an example of how that would translate down, so to speak.
Well, when you're working for some of the largest contractors in the state, and some of them are international contractors, they operate, at a very high level. And so when you have to operate under their rules and on their job sites, you have to be sharp, and it does translate. Then it just kind of is the way you're trained with your people. And then so we'll show up at a home and just do a gas log in an old fireplace, convert it for them. But we were trained, at a job, with a high-level contractor that gives us, the ability to do it what we think better than everyone else.
Right.
And we say that, because we believe it.
Yeah, that's interesting, because it really does translate experiences. There's nothing like playing the game at the highest level it's like anything else in athletics. You get those guys that have been at the top of the game, and almost coming down to coach, say, junior high, they just know how to...
they just know a little more about it.
They just know a little bit more about the game. Look at the competitive environment. I mean, we're here at the show. Everybody in the sun is here. Under the sun is here, and a lot of this stuff is so aesthetically redundant. It's all gorgeous, but there's varying differentiations in this competitive marketplace, and I know that that's got to translate down into the retail aspect of things. How do you guys deal with that, or how does that impact you?
It is competitive, and I think, nowadays we look at the pie as it's smaller, and which makes things more competitive. And I've seen my competitors here, and you got to be sharp. You need to be at events like this. We come here to make sure we're carrying the best product, and we're providing the best service. And so, we're at this event to be trained and also to reassure ourselves that we represent the best products in the world in our marketplace.
Is it important for your customers to know that that's a part of what you guys do in your business philosophy?
It is, and we should probably say it more, but we've kind of done the homework for them.
Right.
Come into our showroom, and really, there's nothing we're not going to be able to provide. We've done the research, and we have the service.
Which I think is interesting, because we, in dealing with literally 70,000+ organizations around the world, my organization, you look at what happens, and I think sometimes customers don't realize that when you guys go out and do your job and you do things like this, you have done all the research. You're out there competitively looking at all of your options, not just the design of the product and the functionality, how it's going to be in the home, how it's going to perform for them, what kind of service calls you're going to get, what's the relationship look like between you and the manufacturer, and resolving things. You've done that all across the board, and I think a lot of times people don't realize that all of that homework has gone into the beautiful things that are sitting in your showroom floor.
Yeah, I think there's probably some customers that look at it on that deep of a level, and if not, we try to tell that story, and we want to be better at that. But you want to portray that in your showroom, and so literally when we're in our showroom, we're bragging about the manufacturers that we represent.
Right.
That's what we're doing. We're laying look at the product, look at the history, look at the service, and so we do talk about it, and the customers. It's hard for them to see all the layers that have gone into it, but hopefully we're good enough to tell that story, and always trying to improve.
What do you think the distinguishing advantages are for your organization as it relates to the marketplace?
We've done it a couple different ways that we think we try to separate ourselves, and we do it with our showroom. We really do have the best showroom in Colorado, in both Denver and Vail, and the customers come in and they see it, and they feel it right away because of our facilities, and the level of display, and then you have to do it with people, and so that's the other area that we separate ourselves, is we have people. We train once a week for a couple hours, whether we're training ourselves and doing that training, or we have the manufacturer at our place doing the training. Right. And so it's commitment, to make sure that we're prepared when they come in.
Yeah, and I can imagine the varying degrees of questions that you guys get asked. It's got to be all over the map. It's never a dull day. Yeah.
This is an amazing industry, and we're constantly being challenged with new ideas, projects, questions all the time. But we pride ourselves in the fact that we're problem solvers. And that's why we have the customers we have. We have the repeat business with the finest builders in our area, and that hopefully translates also out to just homeowners and customers that are just buying one at a time. Those builders come back all the time, and that means that repeat business tells a story. It tells them that we did it right, and so they want to do business again.
Especially repeat business with that level of clientele.
Yeah.
They're tough to solve, and I've dealt with CEOs for years, and those are the toughest guys to please. But when you get it, when you're doing your job right, they're also the most loyal guys, because they understand it emotionally and pragmatically.
Absolutely. And that's the best form of advertising there is. If you
absolutely.
If you can have your customers support you and tell your story for you, you know, it makes everything a lot easier.
Any consumer trends you started to notice at all in your particular industry? Buying patterns, reasons why customers are kind of going at this direction?
Well, it's in our store. We latched on and had kind of done high-end before a lot of the competitors early. And the high-end still remains, but the consumers are being very cautious. You got to present them with multiple price options, you know, and it's not as easy to upgrade as it was, but consumers are smart. They can do a lot of research before they get there. So you're definitely seeing that trend.
Right.
They're coming in with more information than ever.
And
because
the web's got to play. The web's got to play a huge role in that.
It's so accessible. So it actually is good in a way because we can shorten the amount of time that they have to commit to the project when they come in, because they're so educated usually from the beginning.
Sure.
You know, and then they'll have access to that information right there on their phone or their pad, and you know, it's become more efficient. It really, the way I see it, is that it empowers them and us with information being so accessible, and so it's really changing the way we sell and the way we approach it.
Which is interesting because there's kind of a dichotomy between retailers or even distributors in the industry, which is the web is empowering our customers and they're coming in better, operating off of that philosophy that probably you and me and a lot of other successful businesses have had, which is there's nothing better than an educated customer when it's all said and done. I mean, that's the easiest guy to sell. Yep. And then you've got that contingent that feels like the web has diminished and destroyed their opportunities. What do you say to that?
Yeah, I don't have time for that. You know, we use it too.
Right.
You know, so I'm getting my education from my manufacturers, like Rasmussen, from their website as well. You know, it's quick access information. Like I'm better at answering the tough questions because I can go get the answer, and I don't even have to pick up a phone. Right. So actually, I mean, you know, from a sales standpoint, they're worried about the web because, you know, it's eating into their territory or something. But you keep going. You use the tools that you're given, and you get better. And you know, it's a great tool, and I think it's pointless to fight it. It's embrace it, and we have. You know, we've embraced social media, we've embraced all of the web marketing, and you know, we're getting better at that stuff every day.
Well, and it's like you said, when you've gotten so much information that even you have access to what the customers have got access to. Yeah. So when they walk in, you are really so much better prepared.
Yeah.
And that has always been behaviorally proven out, that when a customer can come in educated and then the staff in the side is educated, there's more of a meeting of the minds, and I think it becomes more of a collaborative conversation and a resolution of a problem than it is more of that combative kind of sales close mentality.
It makes us more professional.
Absolutely.
It makes us more professional. And so we've, you know, we're always learning. You know, we're still getting used to how to use it all the time, you know, and then the manufacturers upgrade their websites, and it's evolving and it's changing, but you know, I'm a big fan of it, and I understand that some people don't like it, but you know.
And sometimes we get pulled kicking and screaming into the revolution of the web and technology, but it seems to be, and based on all the organizations I've ever coached for years, the more prepared the staff is to meet those educational or informational demands, to have that conversation, it actually leads to bigger transactions when it's all said and done, because it creates the credibility, it eliminates the distrust, which are really the roadblocks to that opening of the purse strings. Yeah. Have you guys seen something like, because you're selling some pretty high-end guys.
Absolutely, you do see it, and it kind of can be a confirmation for them as we make a presentation and we're trying to put together a package for someone. You know, they can go back and kind of check things out to make sure we're on top of it, or we were right, or you know, we've got it spec'd correctly and sized correctly, and so you know, it's kind of a confirmation for them and for us, and it's been, you know, I really just see it getting bigger and more useful and better, and
Right.
Can't imagine what it's going to look like in 10 years, but
10 years
I'm
from
excited
now,
to be there.
Yeah, it'll be fantastic. The accessibility to communicate will be phenomenal. Just the ability for a guy to send you pictures online or even go online and start designing everything. That functionality is already there. It's just waiting for people to catch up and apply it, the technology. But you look at, for example, the competitive industry here and all of the types of products. Why end up here at Rasmussen? I mean, there's got to be a lot of people that are after your business. You're kind of that prize pony, so to speak, as a retailer. Why here? Why is it so important, this relationship?
It's, it kind of goes back to, I think, me running into Rhett and learning about infrared technology from him many years ago, and then learning about their company then and the history of how many generations of his family have built that company, and that's kind of what we aspire to be. So you do business with people first, and so it starts there, and then me being a big believer in infrared technology, and then also we do on the fireplace side gas logs, and it makes you look good.
Right.
So when your customer uses a grill like a Solaire grill, you know that you're not going to be worried that they're not going to be happy.
Right.
And that, that's reassuring. I don't need trouble.
No.
And so
you don't want to incur liability with a relationship.
You sell somebody something, nice product like that they, have paid a fair amount of money for. You want them to be happy.
Yeah.
And so that's, you got to have those types of products, and that's why
it's interesting. You hit on something that I find interesting, especially in industries, no matter what it is, especially this one. Success always leaves clues. It leaves residue. It's so obvious if you just pay attention. And for organizations, whether they're retailers or distributors, if you want to be in the game for the long haul, it's probably a good idea to do business with manufacturers that have been in the game for the long haul.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at a 100-plus-year-old company, they have seen all of this.
Yeah, they've been through this probably before. I haven't been through this. We've been around for 20 years, but that's a good point. I mean,
they know how to last.
Yeah, they saw it in, the 30s or whatever it was,
sure.
Which, you make it through that, it probably makes this one look easy, actually. So, we're proud to be here still. We're proud of 20 years, and, as Rasmussen is, they tell a great story about their company and their marketing materials, and hopefully we're around in 100 years too.
Yeah, I'm sure that'll be the case. Advice to customers, retail customers out there looking, if they're shopping, what do you tell them? If someone's going to call you and say, hey Pete, we're back east, I know you do this for a living, we're about ready to go look for a grill, we're walking around, what should we be looking for? What do you tell someone like that?
Well, it's people can do the research, like you say, and get information, but there's nothing like, being right in front of it in one of our showrooms, where you really get a feel for it. Even, go as far as us cooking on it for them,
sure.
So that they can make that decision based off of their experience, a very positive experience. When we're dealing with products like these beautiful grills, there's nothing like trying it before you buy it. And we really do try to do that for people because it's that important to prove to them the technology makes a difference and it's worth every penny. So if that's possible, try it before you buy it. If not, thankfully there's so much information available that they're gonna be educated, and then any questions they have, that's what we do. Is
there any particular question that you think people should ask in order to see if they're really dealing with the right kinds of guys?
Yeah, I guess the one that we really pump right now and we push and consumers really respond well to it is, where's it made?
Yeah.
It's made in America. And that's kind of how we look for products, and we really get a good response.
Yeah, it's interesting.
From our consumers. They're proud of us that we've made that commitment.
Yeah.
And then they'll respond by buying from us.
And it really does make a difference. We've talked about the Asian contingent and things like that and whether that's good or bad.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of what happens in the business philosophy, when Japan kind of took Deming away from us because back then America wasn't too bright when it came to to quality and total quality management and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
That era is gone. That's not the Asian contingent anymore.
No.
Now we're into let's take what we see coming out of the States that's good, let's knock it off, and then resell it back in mass for cheap.
Yeah.
But the concern and care that goes into that customer centricity that goes into creating manufacturing products like the Rasmussen do, that's not going on in the Asian contingent. They're looking at it, scoping it, speccing it, knocking it off for cheaper and then sending it back. But there's a lot of stuff that's missing in that, and when it's all said and done,
it's been done for long enough. The consumer's smart. They're onto it, you know, and so they're the ones that are. You can't say you have to buy something made in America. They're actually asking for it, and so we're just supporting it by saying yes.
Yeah,
made locally.
We've gotten to a point in America, and the consumers in America, that we've figured out, you know what? We're not buying into that anymore. We're tired of buying something, having it fall apart, calling Home Depot or Lowe's, having nobody answer our questions, nobody to talk to, no even direction from those guys to get somebody to talk to. We're tired of that.
This industry's hard. It's technical. It's difficult.
Right.
That's why we exist, because Home Depot can't do what we do. And you know, and they, you know, it's thank God for that. You know, it keeps us around, and the consumers, you know, they know what they're doing. Most of them are very smart. Most of them are business people.
Absolutely.
You know, so they, you know, they're willing to pay a fair price for a product that they feel like they're going to get great service on. You know, throughout the lifetime of the product.
When you're talking to builders and architects and people like that, what kind of advice do you give them when they're out there searching?
Well, you know, we have to deal from a design standpoint, that we're trying to meet that look and that feel that they're trying to get. And then we also have to deal with it from a budget standpoint. So we're very good at that, you know, and we can get them a good, better, best presentation, and we can also service it on the back end, and you try to reiterate that so that price doesn't become the only the only focus in the whole presentation, because design's very important on the architect and the designer side, you know, that you're hitting that look that they're going for, and we feel very savvy in that arena.
It sounds to me like the builders have an ability to have a real collaborative relationship with you versus just speccing something out based on what they see or what they've done before, and then trying to get somebody to put that in where they've got the specs.
Well, and their customers are CEOs that have seen something somewhere around the world. They're saying, you know, I want this. And then the builder says, listen, this guy wants a fire feature. This is now your project. And that's what we do.
Yeah,
we solve it for them.
I've got a home in Park City, and it's funny, we got Rasmussen product there, and one of the houses that I had in Texas, we had a big 6-foot fireplace, and we could burn. It was a regular, we could burn big logs in it. And then you go up there and you think, nah, I don't really want to haul big logs in the house anymore. And so I thought, who do I get to build, you know, 6-foot type gas logs? And fortunately, Rhett was a part of my CEO group, and he said, hey, we do that. And I thought, no kidding. But you're right. It's
exactly that kind of how
thing.
It happens.
It's tough.
That's how it happens. You know, they know what they want, and they'll tell their architect and their builder, and then those guys, if we've done our job, they turn to us and they say, listen, can you do this?
Yeah.
And we do.
And I think that's not typical, though, of most people that they could buy a product from. They don't have that depth of experience to be able to have those kind of collaborative conversations in design.
Yeah, we definitely specialize in custom, and a lot of stuff we've done, a lot of it's never been done before, you know, and we'll go to Rasmussen and get them to build us that burner, or, you know, figure out a way to make that larger set. You know, it's been, you know, that's the fun part of business. You know, doing these one of a kind.
Yeah, it's the design aspect, the creativity that you get. Just one other question real quick. I've looked at this, and I've seen, as I've talked to other CEOs in the industry, you know, there seems to be, because of the economy and what's happened, people aren't in that buy a new home every 3 to 5 years. People are starting to stay home. We're getting back to the staying around and beautifying the home, not spending so much on entertainment. But also at the same time, we're watching the family start to disintegrate a lot in this country. And one of the things that I've found in this industry that doesn't really get talked about a lot is the people really talking about how things like fireplaces become that centerpiece of the home. and really start to bring the family back. And I know in my home that's true. I've got a number of children, and the gal I'm married to has got a number of kids, kind of a blended family, and everybody's got their iPads and their iPhones and everything that they're doing. But if we flick that switch and the flames come on, it's not 10 minutes, and everybody's back there starting the conversations. What do you say about that?
You know, it's primal. I mean, you take, it's such a neat product that we have, because you introduce fire into the room or out on the patio, and everybody loves a campfire. Picture yourself and your family sitting around a campfire. Well, now we build it out of gas, and you know, it's a little easier to use than an old campfire where you throw wood in and your clothes don't smell like smoke. So you know, it's more user friendly, but it's definitely family friendly. You know, everybody, you can picture people sitting in a line all staring at a wall that has a TV on it, and then you put a fire out on their patio, and next thing you know, they're sitting in a circle facing each other and interacting. You know, and it's that's one of the neatest things we do, you know, is you know how much you loved the campfire as a kid. Well, as an adult. You
sure
still do, you know, and so that's, you know, that's a fun business to be in, and fire is the heart of the home. That's where the word hearth comes from, and people really do respond well to it. Love the products when we put them in, and you know, that's the good part of the business.
Yeah, it's interesting. 5 years from now, where do you see everything?
That's a great question. It's changing so fast. I wish I knew. I know that on the marketing side, things are changing drastically, and we've embraced the web, you know, and you have to be represented there, and you have to be smart about it. But what we found is that it doesn't mean the brick and mortar stuff goes away.
Right.
What has happened is you need to do both, do it well, you know, and people still want to touch and feel. And 5 years from now, I don't think that's going to change. I don't think you get rid of showrooms. I
agree.
I think you just enhance both showroom and web, and it might be smaller footprints and more efficient and all of that, you know. And it's going to be interesting to see.
Top 3 secrets to success in this industry?
People, passion, and perseverance.
Pete, thanks for everything. Appreciate
Absolutely.
you being on the show. Guys, thanks, and we'll talk to you soon.